Welcome back to this special collaboration between Power CEOs, the truth behind the business, and AI Today, where we're deep diving all things AI literacy. We have talked about so many things. We've myth busted. We've talked about how we need to approach training our team. We've talked about what are some of the considerations for an AI integration and everything in between. But what we haven't touched on, Alan, and I really would like to go into this because this is something that I wish every entrepreneur and executive would consider first, but most of them don't even know to ask this question. How should business leaders approach AI ethics and compliance to ensure responsible AI adoption?
Yeah, and that's the $1 million question right now because, especially in the United States, we are behind from a legal perspective on getting laws and regulations out there for folks to be able to follow. I mean, it's all over the place, quite honestly. And if you're doing business over in Europe, then you've got GDPR, which is somewhat of a help. Then you've got the EU that have passed some regulations around AI and ethical use and those sort of things. But it is a real challenge for folks to be able to understand and embrace. And it's really across every single market again, whether you are using customer data to build different models and different, methodologies to, oh, I'm going to use books to train or copyrighted material to train. There are so many different things for businesses to think about now. It can almost be overwhelming. It really can. So what I tell folks, it's really simple. Just, is it something that is going to impact your customers? And if the answer is yes, then you have to make sure that you are putting the right guardrails in there to protect their data. Think about your own data. Think about everything, your credit card information, your PII data that's out there, where you live, everything that is available now, on the net. You've got to make sure that that's protected. And you've got to make sure that you're not using it in a way that is going to compromise, their identity or fake them out that they're, not talking with an AI agent versus a human, because that's another thing. Transparency and ethics go hand in hand. And, if you're not being transparent with your customers, then from my perspective, you're not being ethical at the same time. They should know who they're communicating with. They should know where the information is coming from. So those have to really go hand in hand. I tell everybody, if you're using an AI tool, not just developing one, if you're using it, you need to have an AI ethics policy. You got to make sure that folks are using it the right way, getting the right information, getting the right data, and then you're protecting it on the back end. And a lot of times, like you said, Jen, executives aren't even thinking about that until after the fact. And I think that's causing a lot of heartburn that could be taken care of way earlier than what it is.
Absolutely. And now let's talk a little bit about the democratization of AI, right? There's all of these open source platforms. Everything has an AI integrated. I mean, we've got Gemini, we've got all of these models, right? But I'm thinking specifically of some of the recent ones that have hit the news and oh, it's free or it's cheap. That has a price, folks. Read the terms and conditions. Like a lot of times your data is using to train their models or maybe even being sent to foreign governments. What do entrepreneurs need to know? Because a lot of them, we've become so accustomed to clicking agree to T and C without reading them that we don't even realize what our data is doing or where our data is going. What is your message to those business owners who are allowing their teams to maybe leverage some of these open source models? What do they need to pay attention to, and what do they need to message to protect themselves as a business, their clients, their customers, and make sure that they are ethically and responsibly utilizing artificial intelligence?
Yeah, and normally with software, you get accustomed to the Adobe, type agreement where, yeah, okay, I've seen this box before, boom. I'm just going to scroll down as fast as I can and I don't have to worry about it because it looks just like every other one. AI is different. AI software is different because you're taking the ingest to the models, which is really the human input going into these models. And then the AI is doing something and then it's generating an answer. Well, it's important for you to know who owns that answer when it comes out of the AI model. a lot of open source, with DeepSeek and those, you do not own it as the small business if you're using that. That's a problem. That's a big problem. And with some like DeepSeek, you don't even own the input. You think, oh, I'm going to put this in there. It's my data. No. When you read their agreement, you do not own it. And not only that, if you cancel your subscription or your access to it, they get to keep it. They don't delete you. They keep all of your data and can continue to train on that. So I tell everybody with AI, it's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of heartburn. Just get a quick legal opinion on it. They've probably seen it before. Let them read through it really quickly and say, no, I wouldn't do that if I was you, because it's gonna have long-term impact to how you're using your data from your customers. So get some help. That's the easiest answer. Get a little bit of help, spend a little bit of money, save a lot of heartburn.
Well, and save a lot of expense. Let's be real.
Right.
If we
Yeah.
don't own something and we're putting something out, and then later on, oh, it turns out that you didn't actually own that response, or that now your data is not yours. I mean, we've seen it so many times with these open source where people were putting their own IP, their protected information, and basically giving everyone else the right to use it. That's no longer your IP. Everybody has access to it now, and there's nothing you can do about it. There is no recourse for you because you put it in there according to their T&C. So it's really important that we not just scroll past and sign off on anything when we're talking about that. Alan, we're getting kind of to the end of our episode. We have talked about a lot of different topics. We really have done a deep dive into artificial intelligence in business. What is the technology? What are the use cases? How do we think about this? What are the pitfalls and how do we avoid them? And what do we do to set ourselves for success? Is there anything else you really want to cover before we close?
Well, I would say, the biggest thing to think about is if you focus on your customer, it's not that hard. It really isn't. It's really making sure that you're hitting what they need to do. And, there are folks like ourselves that are good at that. Get help. You don't have to come to us, but get help. We're offering really an overview of how you can think about this from a technical, a business, and a customer perspective on our April 2nd showcase. But you've got to think there first, because everything else is really going to fall from that, because you don't want to use AI for the sake of AI. Not in business. Education, fine. At universities, fine. You're developing something cool. In business, we're moving too quickly for you to think like that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And so that event happens April 2nd in Houston, Texas. It is literally bringing together the tech aspect, the business aspect, the strategy aspect, the legal aspect, and wrapping it up in a bow so you know exactly what you need to do and have the resources to get there. I couldn't stress more. If you are thinking about putting this integration in, or you're looking at your next integration, it's a great way to ensure you have the right readiness, the right guardrails, everything you need for success. And that's including change management, the people side, the process, everything. It would be really good. If you're interested in that, reach out to myself or Dr. Allen. We are both on LinkedIn and we both respond to our direct messages on LinkedIn. I'm also on Facebook. You can message me on Facebook as well. And we'll get you the information for that, because it's so important that we do this the right way. And when we spend a little bit on prevention, we save a lot of heartache and money that flows out the door when we're having to attempt to cure a problem that we didn't think about. So we are at the end, and Alan, I love action steps on Power CEOs. And so I'm going to ask you, what's the action that everyone watching can and should take today?
Go try an AI model. Just try one. If you're scared, just try one. Look at something that you haven't picked up before. Try something new just to get familiar with it, so you're not scared. It's not going to eat you. You're gonna be fine.
I love it. It's not going to eat you.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, Watch some prior Power CEO episodes. I've interviewed Alan several times. We've covered some of these topics in deep dives and way more topics than what we even covered today. And go to Alan's show and watch AI Today. It's free. It's a free resource. Educate yourself. When we have education, no one can take that away from us. Get knowledgeable and take that action today. Learn one new thing today, not tomorrow, not next week, but today, because listening to us is great. But if you don't apply it to your business or know how you're going to apply it to a business and take that action, then you're the same tomorrow as what you were today. So let's take today, put that into action, and do that. Without further ado, all good things come to an end, including this extra special collaboration between Power CEOs, The Truth Behind the Business, and AI Today. But don't worry, we will be back same time, same station for both Power CEOs and AI Today. Same time, same station next week. We will see you. Until then, win today, win this week, and we'll see you next time.